This is Tim Sheldon with Timmons Group. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the Reassign Route function on the Roads and Highways toolbar. What you're looking at here is ArcGIS Desktop version 10.7.1 with some North Carolina DOT sample data. The Reassign Route function on the Roads and Highways toolbar is the mechanism by which you can change your route ID, is the simplest way to think of it. So in the sample data, North Carolina uses a multi-field route ID that's called mile point ID. It's comprised of several fields: route class, route qualifier, route inventory, route number, and maintenance county code. If we need to change any one of these things for any reason, we do that with the Reassign Route tool. So let me show you a simple example of using Reassign Route just to do a very simple reassign. So when you first click the Reassign Route button, you're presented with this dialog box. The box is split into two pieces. So the top of it is your source route parameters, and the bottom is your target route parameters. So you can think of this as what your route is currently in the source route and what your route is going to be in the target route parameters. So like everything else in Roads and Highways, temporally aware. So the first thing we need to do is choose an effective date. So I'll double click there to choose today's date. We need to choose the route that we're going to reassign. A couple options there. We can either select it from a map, or we can choose it using the multi-field route ID input. If at all possible, I always like to click on the map. So let's reassign this route. So it's going to ask me if I want to lock the route. I do. The next thing we need to fill in is the measure values. So we can type these in. We could type a 0 for the from. We could type whatever to measure we want. We could click it from the map, which is a good idea as well. Or in this case, I want to just reassign the entire route. There's a shortcut box for that. Use whole route. So that will fill in the minimum and maximum measures of the route as the from and the to for me. So now I've built the software what route I want to reassign. What I need to now tell it is what the new route ID is going to be. I can use the multi-field route ID input to build a new route ID, or I can select an existing route ID from the map and reassign this route to that same route ID. In this case, I'm going to use a brand new route ID. We're just going to make up for our demonstration here. So let's change this into a federal route. It'll be a normal route qualifier. Let's go with the inventory side. Route number carefully chosen as 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll leave it in the same county. Rowan County. Click OK. So now I need to tell it what the measures of the new route are. I don't want to change the measures. I want to use the original measures. I just want a different route ID. So if I click the Calculate From Measure button, it'll fill in these source route measures in the target route parameters box. I do want to recalibrate the route downstream. There shouldn't be any changes, but it doesn't hurt to check the box. I do want to transfer the calibration points because I believe they were correct on my source route. And I do want to apply event measure behavior, so I'm not going to check the box that says do not apply. So I'm happy with everything here. I'll click next. So this dialog gives me one more chance to change some of the fields in the route network table. So in this case, there's only two fields that are not system owned. So the route name and the route signing. I don't really have any strong feelings about these, so I'm going to delete the information in route name and just go ahead and finish the operation. Okay, so when we identify this now, you'll see this is a federal route. So if I remove the definition query and we identify, we'll see that there are two routes here. I cleared out the route name, and the route name is what you're seeing in the identify window. That's why there's a non-system or NS and a blank entry there. So if we click on NS, this is what it was. From date is their original line in the sand. Start date. The to date is today. And if we click this record, we see that there's a federal route with a from date of today and a to date of null. So we'll put that definition query back in place. So that's a simple example of just reassigning a route for the purposes of changing the route ID. So we can do a little bit more with Reassign Route. For instance, we can use it to actually extend a route. So in this case, I have a a secondary route, 1504, that stops here, and then a new route, a non-system route, begins at its end. I would like to lengthen this SR, and I can do that by reassigning this non-system route to the same ID as this road. So very similar. We'll choose the Reassign Route tool. The effective date, again, let's go with today. That's easy. The route we want to reassign is this one. We do want to lock it. We want to use the whole route. This is where it'll be a little bit different. So the target route parameters, instead of making up a new route ID like I did a second ago, I want to tell it I want to use this route ID. Again, I'll have to lock this one as well. So what's been filled in for me now are the new measures of this section of this route. Do want to recalibrate, do want to transfer calibration points, and again, I do want to apply event measure behaviors. So we'll click next. I'm going to go ahead and leave the route name in place this time. Click OK. And the software will process that reassign, which is effectively going to extend this original secondary route. So if I click here, it's now one feature effective today, and it's active. And then if I remove the definition query and identify, so we have the currently active route, we have the original non-system section at the end, and we have the original secondary road that was the beginning. So there you go. That's another method to extend a route via a reassign. Thanks for watching.